A lot of you have been wondering if the A's are a serious franchise. Maybe, maybe not. I don't think I'm personally in a position to weigh in on that, but I can tell you one thing. We're a serious podcast, and it's time to get serious about the A's.
Rololin.
Let's get the schlo on the boat.
Ooh, Schlowbold.
I'm schlo bowling you.
Dylan Schlowbold. Ooh. Bad reference.
I'm the type of poker player that schlo bowls you.
Dylan Schlowbold said, "Don't come into school tomorrow."
Yeah.
Oh, that was my favorite meme from the Kendrick Drake stuff was Schoolboy Q when Kendrick told J. Cole not to come into school tomorrow.
It did.
Shit. Anyway, alrighty.
No, streets will remember.
The streets will always remember. You want to kick us off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Well, shoot, man. We're back with our no-nonsense 10th episode of the A's. We don't have a Roots monologue to give you. We're just here to talk A's, dish out some stars, dish out some lumps of coal. Yeah, we know you're watching. And, we're just here to analyze what was an interesting 6 games of an ever-changing squad that I think, every day there's like a new guy that I've never heard of, playing some serious innings of baseball. And that's what the 10th episode's going to be. We went very like plot heavy for the last few, and I think this one's going to be a little different.
Oh, there we go. Let us have light. Hi, Will.
Hey,
A's...
Trevor, there you are. Come out, come on down and join us. The water's just okay.
Wait, I can get a better setting here too.
Okay.
Where?
Does it improve the water
there
quality?
We go. There we go. A little more skin tone.
Yeah.
Brings out my complexion. Okay. So 3 out of 6. Pretty good. I mean, we'll start there. Can't complain about 3 out of 6, especially when one of them is game of the season, objectively. So let's get into lumps and stars, I guess, and then we'll probably break down that game a bit more and probably a little bit in between too. But should I get us started with our
I guess
lumps?
So, yeah. You're right. Lumps, man. You're on lump duty.
This is going to be my least favorite moment of the podcast so far.
Wow.
All of it, 10 plus hours. It's my least favorite moment, and that's because I'm giving one lump of coal to our king, Mason Miller. Yeah, that's right. I did it. I did that. So Mason Miller, 3 and 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 runs, which weren't because of errors. The 5 unearned, 3 earned. It was the second runner on second in extras that's automatically placed there, and he let both of them come in the 2 innings he pitched. But just a rocky, no home runs even, I believe. It was just hits and a couple walks and just not great. And the A's bailed him out. That's how much they love Mason Miller. They're like, all right, you're going to falter one time. We'll pick you out of it and just make a movie out of this game tonight. But yeah, still, I feel like can't forget, especially when just he's been so perfect. When he falters like this much, I thought we'd mention it. It's just one lump of coal. I don't expect it to happen again. His next appearance after was great. But yeah, just kind of a really rare, really rough performance from our king.
It's funny because that was just sandwiched in between 2 good saves, like average Mason Miller saves. And
sandwiched in between just heaps of good appearances too. I mean, of course, only 1 appearance after, but whatever his streak was going into that game of not giving up a run. I
believe that was the first run that he gave up since March 30th.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah, which was the first game that he played in, which was against the Guardians. His FIP, I think, after his 1 game that he played against the Astros, I believe his FIP is still 0. It's no longer negative. I believe his FIP is still 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy. It was negative. And I know his whip is still in like the point sevens. So kind of funny. A guy, 3 earned runs, 5 runs as a reliever, some hits and not good stuff. And still the whip and all the season stats are still best in baseball. So I thought I was considering dropping him into dishonorable mention. And that felt like, I don't know, what was I supposed to say? Oh, he totally should have blown one of these games if it wasn't for just unreal offense and just his worst performance of the year. But we're only going to mention it. I felt like it would have been a little bias if I didn't give him his lump. And who knows? Maybe this is the only lump Mason Miller receives all year. And
We're a
there's
tough
not much to
love
break
podcast,
down.
too.
I don't have a grand pitch tipping or location or this has been getting worse over his past few appearances. It was just a bad game against an awful team too. I think that's what factors into it. Of all teams, it's the Rockies that he gets tagged by. But yeah, just a little mention, and I expect to not see his name on this lump of coal list anytime soon again.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think it's a little slap on the wrist for Mason Miller. We hope it motivates him.
I think it will. Maybe the A's he's finally, like, all right, guys, you won't give me my special entrance, flashing lights. I'll show you what a bad closer looks like. And then when you guys want to see the good closer again, give me some flashing lights.
He's got all the leverage now, actually. That was all
Yes.
kind of part of his plan.
He's so good. It's a game within a game all the time with Mason Miller. But you got a star? You got a lucky star you'd like to?
I got
give
a
out
lucky
to
star.
somebody?
Yeah, and I was kind of, there's a few different guys that I think like had like 1-star worthy performances over the past few games. I decided to go with Brent Rooker. I'm gonna give 1 star to Brent Rooker. I think, he's just been so gosh darn good, the last few pods that we've recorded. And it's funny that the last 5, I think he played in 5 games out of the last 6, but those last 5 were actually like a little worse objectively than how he's been playing, and he's still slashing 316, 435, 474, and he's got an OPS of 908. He's had 6 hits, 3 walks, which I guess kind of helps, and that's in 19? No, not 19 plate appearances. Sorry, 23 plate appearances.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but I'll give him 1 star. He's still been like the bedrock of this team, and I think you had mentioned earlier, if a guy is hitting with an OPS of 908 over his career, he is hitting his way right to the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
I don't think we're going to be assigning that with Brent Rooker anytime soon, but he is certainly putting together an all-star resume, I think is safe to say, if he continues to keep this up, which he hasn't shown any sign of slowing down after what was a slow start to the year, but yeah.
He kind of just has to stay healthy at this point and claw his way to the All-Star break to, like he can do that and he'll still be an All-Star, I think. Like he's just been incredible, man. Like it's funny you pointed out, yeah, like a 908 OPS, and that's probably down. He's been over 1 dotting it over the past couple weeks and, even probably a few weeks to a month. And then you see the 908 and you're like, oh, it's a little down, but yeah, 908 hitter. Here's your first ballot Hall of Fame ticket. So yeah, incredible to the point where even when he's still playing incredibly well, it's somehow paling in comparison of what he did before. And doing it with no home runs too. It's just nice to see him get his singles and doubles, not just be a 3 outcome guy. And that's just what he's been lately. I feel like there's been real strides. I feel it's a little early too to look too much into the baseball savant, like whiff percentage and those types of numbers that are clearly better this year. But if they hold up throughout the year, then I think we can like legitimately say not only are the numbers better for Brent Rooker, but all the little, between the lines stuff improved a lot too, which could give us hope that he can sustain it just for years. And I say all that, and still in the back of my head is if Brent Rooker is this good and another team in baseball thinks he's this good as well, then the A's are going to be 4 prospects richer at some point probably. So we'll see. That's the whole balancing act of being an A's fan. Can't get too high or low with anybody, in terms of just being a fan. But as a quasi analyst of the A's, as we are, yeah, Brent Rooker's been mashing.
I think it's also interesting going back to the whole trade talk thing. I believe someone, I forget who it was, someone came out and said that Mason Miller is basically like untouchable right now.
I
Someone
saw
said
there's
that.
like, I hope I believe it. I mean, because there's all those reports of Mason Miller. Or you know what? Yeah, I did see that because there was a report that a lot of teams are interested and some are making offers, but it seems like the A's, what they're demanding back is way too much for a young closer who hasn't proven himself to be a starter. Honestly, what they are probably doing, which I hope they're doing, is they're treating his value right now as at the very least a good young starting pitching prospect and a really good starting pitching prospect at that. Because yeah, you can't at all be fielding offers for Miller and demanding back like elite closer return from a guy who could potentially go next year be a starter with the type of stuff he's showing he has. I mean, if Mason Miller can throw, average 5-6 innings a start at any point in his career and like stay healthy, he's literally Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? So, yeah, I would love if these didn't trade Mason Miller unless it was like, here's 2 top 50 prospects in baseball and 5 more. But, if we do, gotta get a lot back. Mason Miller's awesome.
Mason
if
Miller
I haven't made that clear.
Yeah, we really like Mason Miller.
Yeah. Yeah. We're a Mason Miller pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good star. Brent Rooker, I hope when the season's over, we'll look back at all the stars Rooker has and feel like we gave him a good amount.
He's wrapping them up.
I don't want to look back and be like, wow, like Brent Rooker just we didn't give him his flowers. Well, he could still smell them. So, good stuff. You ready for 2 lumps?
I am.
Alrighty. So going from a lot of stars last week, or maybe just one, if my memory isn't serving me correctly. Abraham Toro, my friend, I'm sorry. 5 for 28, 0 walks, 0 extra base hits, a 178 average for those like me that can't do math very fast off the top of their head. It's just rough. When we were talking about it last week, when Abraham Toro is hitting around 300 or at least over 280, and once in a while popping out that home run or at least getting some doubles, and then playing the defense that we're kind of accustomed to, that's a really good player. But then on the flip side, if that same player is hitting below 200, and very small stretch, but still, hitting under 200, no extra base hits, getting the most at-bats on the team, not walking. That's the big thing too, is that Toro's never, at least unless he makes a huge offseason adjustment at any point, he's never going to profile as a huge on-base guy, so he's always going to have to keep that average high and just consistently rack up those hits. So whenever he's not, he's kind of actively hurting the team a bit. Yeah, so that's why 2 lumps of coal this time, but I'm not terribly worried. He had so many great stretches earlier on that I do kind of think this is just a little regression to the mean. But I expect good stuff and more singles from our guy Toro going forward. Not much to drag on.
And I believe in the game that just finished today, I think he had
2 for 4.
Yeah,
2 for
4 today.
Yeah, so
which,
that's included there too in the 5 for 28. Of course. So
right.
it's like even before that, it was he was hitting 130.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's including the one good game he had today. But
Toro goes on to do a 4-game hit streak with a few multi-hit games, and he's back to looking just like Toro in the numbers. So, yeah, not worried at all, but another guy that's like we've been high on, we like, but got to mention when he's not pulling weight.
He did have a nice, he had a nice defensive play at third. I think it was against the Rockies.
Yeah, he's got a gun for an arm too. Like
it was a nice.
I feel good about him out there. Which is just what makes when the bat's clicking him all the more valuable.
Well, I think it's also good that he's, they can trust him at third base, and if they don't have to like put, they don't have to like just put him at the DH spot in the lineup. Like they can afford to, give a give the DH spot to like Rooker or Kyle
Well,
McCann
no,
or
Toro's never
yeah.
really DHing. He's middle infielder at third
Sometimes,
base. Well, I mean, like
sometimes he
sometimes he's a
is.
great
Yeah, I guess
defenseman though. You
sometimes.
don't need
Yeah,
to.
that's true.
It's Rooker and those guys, Brown and the guys that have a hard time tracking down balls sometimes. But no, he's not a guy that you have to give DH days out of fear for him botching plays. Just once in a while to maybe get him off his feet because I can't remember the last time he even got a day off. So yeah,
No days off, man.
go Toro.
Go
Go
Toro.
Toro. You got some
Yeah, I
two
got
stars,
two,
my
I
friend.
got 2 stars and three, and I guess 2 or 3 lumps of coal that I'm going to eat now because Seth Brown's making me eat them. He told me I saw episode 9. I'm going to make you eat those lumps of coal, and I had to crunch them up, sprinkle it over a salad or something, and just deal with that. And as much as that hurts me, it makes me happy that Seth Brown has been mashing in his last 21 plate appearances. He's had 8 hits, 5 runs, a homer, and he's had an OPS of 952. That is much better than he's been hitting in the last every game of the year, really.
Past couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been good to see that he's kind of started finding his mojo again. I guess the egg is on my face for doubting Seth Brown. I think, well, no, I have to give the A's some credit for sticking with him, and I think they figured that he was going to turn it around at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they still feel comfortable enough to put him in the outfield. They also just don't have a plethora of great options in the outfield, but
outfield defense is trash right now.
Yeah,
Day, I guess, who still made not a huge error, but
that was a pretty boneheaded. It was a routine,
yeah,
routine fly ball that zipped over Gelof's head. Like that was still pretty bad.
Our king in the outfield is making surfs errors. So
yeah. If we're looking at Daz Cameron and Miguel Andujar as like the refreshing outfielders, then that's not a great look for.
Ironically, Daz Cameron, I'm looking forward to watching him play a bit more in the outfield because I actually think he has the potential to be good. Miguel Andujar is a lost cause in the field, no matter where you put him. So if he's not, and I truly mean that. Like I wouldn't want to because I think he's probably a very nice guy and I don't want to like make him sad, especially to his face. But if I was face to face with him and I was told to just be honest with Miguel Andujar, he can take it, I would tell him, dude, you are a lost cause in the field every year, no matter where you put him. I mean, he started out as a third baseman in the minors, came up, just really struggled over there. He had to literally be an 800 OPS guy to like keep him in the lineup. And then, so bad over there, moved to the corners as usually happens with struggling defenders in the infield and not much better. So we'll see. I mean, it's been a while since we had a good sample size of, Miggy games in the outfield in major league uniform. But I don't think that he's going to be a defensive reinforcement, to leave it at that. But Daz Cameron, we'll see. Because if Daz Cameron is playing just really good corner outfield, there could be a spot for him on this roster, especially with just some of the injuries and Ruiz and all that. So, go Seth Brown. Do your thing, Seth.
Good for him. Yeah. Okay, your honorable mentions?
You mean dishonorable mention?
Dishonorable mentions, right?
I only have one. I think it's my first week with like less than 5 of them.
Okay.
But which makes it actually just, it's hitting me all at once right now, kind of a little bit more insulting towards this one guy if he's the only dishonorable mention. But Mitch Spence, not a big deal, just only 3 innings pitched, 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 1 home run. Just whenever a relief pitcher kind of gets hit like that, it's gonna sound baseball for dummies. It's gonna hurt your chance to win games late if you're, guys that, especially Mitch Spence, just probably one of the more higher volume relief pitchers that we have right now. Just kind of mainly because you can stretch him out to 2 innings at a time. But yeah, kind of a guy that I've also grown accustomed to just trusting at least a bit more than some of our other guys. So yeah, the control thing, three walks and 3 innings to go along with the hits is no buenski, but I we'll see. So like we talked at length about his curveball at one point, because at one point it was by far the best in baseball at fielding run value for that pitch. That like there are little fun things like the curveball is so nasty that we'll see if he can turn it around a little bit. But yeah, the season stats not looking quite as pretty. Do you have those in front of you?
His season stat. I can look at his last few games. Let's see. Mitch Spence.
So the season stats.
The second best starter in the A's rotation at this point.
Yeah. I forgot literally, like I've been talking about him like he's still coming out of the bullpen. I forgot that the injuries have pushed him into the rotation technically.
Yeah.
I think
7. Okay, last 3 games. Let's see. Against the Rockies, he pitched 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Yeah. I was just looking for the season stats though. I have it up right now. 4.09 ERA. In 33 innings, 30 strikeouts, which isn't bad. But no, it's actually still at the end of the day not awful. Because he's had a couple rough outings recently, but I'm hoping we can just kind of get him back to that like long relief / middle relief role that he was in earlier when he kind of looked a bit nastier. But injuries and lack of options, and the fact that Spence can give you 4 innings a start sometimes, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, and the rotation's just been ravaged. I mean, JP Sears is literally the last man standing at this point, and we don't really know when these other guys are even going to come back. And I guess it's given some opportunity to, for some guys to come up and give some length here and there, but it's dark times. Dark times and afflictions have overcome the A's starting rotation.
Dark times at the El Royale.
Yeah, that's the evil. Mm-hmm. That's like the evil one is dark times at the El Royale.
Exactly. By the way, not a great movie. I was gonna try to find a way to sugarcoat it.
Really?
Like make some sort of joke.
I didn't mind it. I actually didn't mind that movie. You didn't like it?
It was like the coolest first 10 minutes of a movie I'd seen in a while, and then it was like, we tricked you. We got you in the theater, and you thought this was gonna be a great movie.
Here, into my trap.
All these famous B to A-list actors are gonna stand in a room for a few hours, and nothing's gonna happen.
I will say, like, that movie was probably like an hour longer than it needed to be.
Yeah. I'm not a movie buff. I'm not a guy you should always trust the opinions of when talking movies, but I think you can take my word for that one.
It's like when the movies, like if Quentin Tarantino, I guess, like had like a little homunculus that he locked away in a cellar and told him to, and someone like unearthed him and was like, oh, write a movie. And then that little homunculus of Quentin Tarantino, whatever name we're gonna name that, wrote Bad Times at the El Royale.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if just because it was a beautiful looking movie too, like the sets and everything, and like it was crazy budget, I assume, and stuff like that. But it's like if you got like all of the stuff that was like kind of the hardest stuff to sometimes achieve is like getting everything to look perfect and stuff like that. And it's like the one thing that's like the crux of a movie, the screenplay. It's like, oh shit, that's right. We had that 15-year-old write the screenplay for them. We didn't get someone else to write their version. We just got the first one, the 15-year-old wrote. All right, we'll go with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to leave all that in the podcast and just see how many people had stopped listening after we went on a several-minute Bad Times at the El Royale rant. But
I'm gonna give a fan shout out right now. I want to hear Skylar's opinion on our take on Bad Times at the El Royale.
So for the audience members here, Skylar is a friend of ours who is a hefty listener of this program. He's maybe having a crazy moment in bed right now, us mentioning his name. His favorite podcast is talking about him as he's listening. And it's funny, we don't need to wonder. I watched that movie with him and he hated it more than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, there you go.
Mystery solved.
Pretty sure he can write in if I'm misremembering, if I'm remembering someone else's opinion. But there you
That's
go.
funny. I like that.
But speaking of bad times at the El Royale, we just talked about Mitch Spence. Any good times at the El Royale you would like to honorably mention?
Yeah, I got a few good times at the El Royale that I can mention. I'm just gonna like list all of them at once, and then if there's any that like tickle your fancy, you can just kind of like
Please, I like it.
sample them. It's like a little platter of hors d'oeuvres that I'm gonna lay out for you.
To whom do
And
I owe this honor? This
yeah,
is great.
it's all I'll have what I'm having.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I think I'm gonna give my honorable mentions to, let's see. Daz Cameron, JJ Bleday, Brandon Belak, um,
Here, wait. I guess we'll just go as you're listing, and you
Kyle
can keep
Muller.
listing when I'm done. I want to spend a quick second on JJ Bleday.
That's fine.
I just find it very funny. The
Those are the
numbers.
four, though. I think.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's a good crop. It's a good crop. JJ Bleday in the last 6 games, 26 plate appearances, 192 batting average, 250 on base percentage, 654 slugging for a 904 OPS. That's like I don't know, like find a Chris Davis stretch like that. That's like one of the only guys I can think of where you can find Adam Dunn. Like
Kyle
that's
Schwarber, maybe.
yeah, but Kyle Schwarber's average is usually pretty good. He's like
Yeah,
in
well,
his
no, I'm
doubles,
saying
his
like Kyle
singles.
Schwarber, like last year. Like,
Maybe. Well,
yeah,
definitely there's been times. Oh, you're right, because Kyle Schwarber did hit like 200. Like, you know
yeah.
what? That's a great
No,
example.
he hit like 187 for like he wasn't even cracking 190,
Yeah.
and for probably like a third or 2/3 of the season, but he was still launching like 20 homers or like 20 plus homers.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, yeah, he would have a 26, at bat sample and then be 4 for 26 with 3 homers and a double. And that's essentially what JJ Bleday literally did here. 5 for 26, 3 home runs, 2 walks. But yeah, rarely do you see 250 on base percentage, 904 OPS. So good on JJ Bleday for even in a kind of weird time where he's going against his mold or archetype as a player to be a bit of a contact guy, at least hit you around 250, 240 over a long period, but maybe not quite as much power to give you all the power in the world, but that's it. Is pretty funny. But good honorable mention. Very good 904 OPS. I don't care how you're getting there, and justifies the means there.
Yeah.
And who were the other names you mentioned?
Daz Cameron, Brandon Belak, and Kyle Muller.
Let's save Cameron for the end. Go talk about our boy Belak.
Yeah, so Brandon was lacking. He still kind of be lacking, but he'd be lacking a little less. And why am I not able to pull up a stat of his last few games? That is weird. Hold
Stats
on.
are too good.
Stats are too good. They're just hidden from me.
I mean, I can tell you, I have it in front of me. 3 innings,
thank
4
you.
hits, no runs. Yeah, just solid. 0 ERA, 1.6 WHIP. So yeah, I guess the main ones: 4 hits but no runs, only 1 walk. Good stuff. Just clean. Throw strikes. Don't give up hard contact.
I think his exile to Oakland has kind of taught him a valuable lesson, and he's fortunately carved out a bit of a niche for himself, which is great.
Yeah. What they don't tell you is that new Avatar Last Airbender show is actually about Belak and his journey back to Oakland and having to overcome the 4 elements of sorrow, sadness, and the other 2 synonyms you want to throw in there. And look what he's done. He's mastered them. He's at acceptance. He's at the last stage of grief. How many more just weird half references can I throw in here?
There were a few in there. That was like chock full of them.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. The 5
stages of grief.
Stages of grief. You got.
I went pretty hard on that Avatar.
The four horsemen of the
elements.
apocalypse, essentially.
Ooh, that's better than what I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. See, I'm getting jiggy with it out here, man. I'm talking about Avatar, The Last Air. Dude, I always wanted to watch that show, or just a
You've never
TV
watched
show
it?
and movie. No, I did. I watched it when I was
Okay.
really young, though. Like when I was when it
Oh.
was just on Nickelodeon and stuff as a
Mhm.
kid, and and like I didn't realize until like when I like 11 years old, I was like, oh wow, that was actually a very good show. But I
Yeah, it
never
was a
like
great
watched
show.
it. Binged it, first to last episode, and like really got the full story and got to like really enjoy it as a full TV show. And I meant to do that at one point and I never did. So kicking myself right now.
Yeah, I'd watched it
I'm
with my
gonna dishonorable
sister.
mention. I'm gonna give myself a dishonorable mention right there.
Oh.
That's going in the books.
Yeah, I watched it. It was very like I guess pandemic era show, just because I think it got released on Netflix during the pandemic.
I kind of remember that.
I had like me and my sister had watched we had like watched the show like start to finish and really got into it. Yeah, during the pandemic. But no, it's a great show. It holds up. That was actually the
Uncle
first time I had watched. I actually didn't watch it as a kid.
Uncle
I watched
Iroh,
it like as
man.
like an adult. Yeah.
What a guy.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The voice actor. What's his name? Oh my god. Oh my god. What was his
Could probably look it up.
name? Oh my god. I feel bad now. I just said rest in peace to a guy whose name I don't even know.
That's true.
Um,
Writing checks you couldn't cash there.
Oh, I know. Mako. Yes.
Yeah.
Mako.
Not Greg Baldwin.
Not great. No, Greg Baldwin was the guy who like very seamlessly replaced him in that show, and also as Aku in Samurai Jack.
Wow, he did. Wow, he's got a Rolodex here. Kung Fu Panda,
yeah.
Samurai Jack,
No, Greg
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Greg Baldwin's like kind of goated in terms of the amount of voices that he does. Yeah,
He
but
was in Hail Caesar.
honestly, who wasn't in Hail Caesar?
That's a good question.
I
There you
know
go.
that yeah, at least with like the Mako roles that he took over, it was yeah, Aku and Samurai Jack. Have you ever seen Samurai Jack? It's a
Yeah, like
Cartoon
just as a
Network
kid
show.
again, like
Oh, okay.
episodes here and there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because they
yeah.
rebooted that like a few years later, and then
I think I heard
yeah,
of
and then
that.
season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I believe he was. Yeah, because I think Mako passed away after season 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But no,
sad.
it's pretty seamless. Like if you listen to like a side by side, he does a good job. That dude's yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender pod. Do we start a new pod
Yeah, we could.
on the
We
network?
could. Yeah. What nation would you be?
I mean, I was gonna say air, but don't they all get like massacred?
Yeah, they all kind of like got like
They got
yeah, they got by the
Mm.
yeah, because that's like when the Fire Nation attacked, like they all got.
all of the Earth people seem to be kind of like badasses. I feel.
Yeah, but also like there's some like weird stuff going on there too, like Bossing Say, for example. Like there's
But
like
didn't the
some-
water people get massacred too?
No, they split up into 2 tribes. There's like the really small like southern water tribe. Like they basically live on like the North and South Pole of that world.
There's no real good option here, is there? Seems like
no,
everyone's
and then
got
it's
their
like
hardships.
if you live in the Fire Nation, then you're kind of like part of
You're
you
evil.
know, yeah, you're like you're complicit in like the evil of
Prince
you know,
Zuko needed a 4-season arc to get over his evilness.
even though the show was 3 seasons.
He needed 4 of them. I
Needed
still didn't
4
believe
of
him at the end. I thought he was still evil.
It was a great redemption arc though.
I know. Again, I haven't seen it since I was like 11. So
his
I do
redemption arc
remember.
is, and me and my sister always say this, like his redemption arc is like what Kylo Ren wishes his redemption arc was in the prequel movies.
Should I make everyone hate me? Well, is that something that would help us?
Yeah, I mean,
everyone
if
hated
it,
me?
if you, I guess, yeah. I mean,
I'll do it.
I won't hate you. Probably not. I don't know. I'm cashing a check that I'm writing a check that I may not be able to
I haven't.
cash here.
I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. I haven't
Alright,
watched
go
a
for it.
full Star Wars movie ever.
Ever?
Ever.
You're kidding.
Ever.
Really?
Which clearly means I've stayed away from it actively.
Wow.
That's kind of not by chance,
I mean, but like for me, it's like I've actually never watched a full length Harry Potter movie.
There you go. I watched one of them. It was like the third one because one of my friends and his dad took me to see it or something like that.
Okay. That's kind of weird, like seeing like a middle of the series Harry Potter
I was
movie.
lost.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never a fantasy kind of, dragons and spaceships type guy, I guess.
Well, Star Wars has one of those.
What?
Star Wars has one of those.
Yeah, but then you've got like here. Should I drop the other bomb? I haven't seen a full like Lord of the Rings or Hobbit movie either. So,
I've seen a couple. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a couple of them. But
that's a big one. For some reason, I always felt like the Star Wars meant like that was even worse. But like I've told a couple people recently I've never seen Lord of the Rings, and they kind of got mad at me. Will. So I don't know. Yeah,
but we've both seen Bad Times at the El Royale. That's
God,
we've seen that
almost against my will. Yeah.
Right.
Turns out one of our 10 listeners is the director of Bad Times at the El Royale, and he's like, I'm just trying to escape my work for once. And
I know.
I can't
I thought I finally got away from people talking about this movie, and I actually didn't mind it though. I know I'm like ripping on it for the bit. I didn't mind it, but
yeah.
Who was the director of that? Director was
it someone
Drew
famous?
Goddard.
Seems like a name.
He's written. What else has he been on? Oh, he wrote he used to be a writer on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Got you.
The Martian.
Oh, did he direct it or write it?
He wrote.
Ridley Scott. I was about to say Ridley Scott directed.
Yeah, Ridley Scott directed it, but Goddard actually received an Oscar nom for Best Adapted Screenplay for The Martian.
While we're on this topic, where is all of Ridley Scott's budget for these movies coming from? Who keeps giving Ridley Scott $200 million? I mean, hey, he makes great movies, but it's a lot of money to be giving Ridley once a year. Don't you say?
Once a year. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like he's just expecting it now.
That dude's been milking the Alien movies for
Hey, Will, I'd be careful. You're a working actor out here. Me not a working actor. I can talk about Ridley Scott all I want.
There's somebody.
Gotta be careful.
Somebody went to school with actually got cast in one of like the latest Alien universe adaptations.
Gotcha.
They got cast in that. So shout out to them.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Another person you're shouting out without knowing the name of.
No, I know that I just didn't want to like disclose it, but like I know the name of this person.
It's repeating itself now.
I'm just grown just old and senile in the near dozen hours that we've been doing this podcast.
If you meet Will on the streets and you expect him to remember your name after you tell it to him, I mean, it's a tricky gamble.
Yeah, I'd give it 50-50 shot at best. Funny thing I do though is that I make up if I don't know someone's name, and like I see them at like the function or something like that. Like I will like make up a name in my head, but then it like confuses me because then like
why would you do that?
Well, no, but then like because it's I don't know. It's like that dude. I don't know. He looks like a Dylan to me. So
I would totally call him Dylan at some point. Like,
well, that's the thing. Then like I've like effectively unlearned what their actual name is, and I'm just like, but you look like a Dylan to me now, and I just associate you as a Dylan. And there's been like I could probably count on like one hand the amount of times that this has happened, but like where I've made up a name and it actually ended up being their name, and I'm like, oh no, that's a good name for you because you look like a such and such.
Yeah. There's this kid I knew in college that I had seen at least multiple times every year of college. And I was like pretty confident I knew his name by junior year, but still I wasn't like 100%, so I just called him Man for 4 years straight.
Man, if you're seeing this.
And he used to be a lot more warm to me, like towards the beginning of college. And I have to assume that he just caught on. Like, I don't think he knows my name any. Like, I don't think he ever knew.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about that sometimes.
That's all right. Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many. I mean, I hope people have been there. I don't know. 4 years straight. That's
that actually is that's kind of tough to top.
I got
mean,
to the point after like, you know, junior year where I was like, because I like I knew what it was, but like just because I didn't know a lot of people that knew him, I didn't hear about him a lot. And yeah, just every time like just ran even once on the street, you know, randomly, it just be like, hey, what's up, man? You know, and yeah,
streets in
it's
New
tough.
York.
It's tough out here on the streets, man.
Yeah.
But should we talk about the Oakland A's again? Is that what this
Yeah,
podcast is about?
I think that's what we're doing.
All right.
We're on to 3 lumps of coal. No, well, no, you gave your dishonorable.
Yeah,
no, 3 lumps of coal. Yeah, 3 lumps of coal.
Yeah. Geez. Well, this was the easiest decision, which is why he's getting 3 lumps of coal. Zach Geloff. Yeah. 4 for 23, 2 walks, no extra base hits, dropped all the way. Now he was in the 8 hole today. Yeah, this is because I kind of like to forget, you know, maybe what a player's done previous to the sample size we're talking about, just so bias doesn't really affect the lumps and the stars. But it's kind of hard to not acknowledge how Zach Geloff came in the year by far as like the guy people were expecting the most from, at least just from, you know, at the plate. And he had the injury and stuff, which obviously surely has affected, if not anything else, than his timing and just getting all of that in order. But yeah, to start out hitting second in the order, and then currently to be hitting second to last, and to truly, I don't want to say deserve, that's a pretty negative connotation here, but like he's kind of earned that second to last place in the order spot. So yeah, I mean, he just looks out of time a little bit. Just he has that look right now of a guy that, you know, you feel like is a little bit too far ahead and behind of a lot of the pitches he's seeing, and just doesn't seem to have his timing right, which again, just a healthy sample off the field because of the injury could easily affect that. So we'll see going forward. But for right now, yeah, it's too bad. And he's truly gained the lump too, because it makes me sad a little bit, and sad for him mainly, because, you know, coming into the year, I mean, people were thinking that he could play so well that the A's have to trade him and like sell high on him, you know, with all this, you know, control and the fact he's already a pretty old prospect. And yeah, no one is submitting offers at the moment, I can say pretty confidently. So yeah, maybe it keeps him on the A's for longer than people expected.
But then it's like, well, then you have a bad Zach Geloff.
Exactly.
That's not fun.
It's a no-win situation there, just looking through those lenses. So yeah, I hope he plays better starting soon. He has more than enough pedigree and minors, you know, hitting, and people that know a bit more than us saying very positive things about his approach and all of that, yeah, I hope going forward, kind of a regression back to the mean, you know, in a positive way. But for right now, yeah, 3 lumps.
Yeah. Well, I'll wash that taste out of your mouth with 3 stars. Yeah.
Please.
And another guy who's making me eat my lumps of coal that I assigned to him, J.D. Davis, who, you know, J.D. Davis has been bear wrestling the, you know, bear wrestling, hog wrestling, however you want to do it, Greco-Roman wrestling, the first base job back. And I think, at least in the last 2 series, he's gotten 5 starts there. I believe 5 starts at first base, unless he saw a DH rep mixed in there somewhere. But
he's off third for sure now with Toro and Schumann and those guys playing third. He's at first, which is good. I mean, I kind of like him better at first. I love Nevin at first. I'm pissed on Nevin to have the mix, but sorry, continue. That's
no, it's okay. Yeah,
pointless tangent.
No, it's fine. It's just old man yelling at cloud with Tyler Nevin at this point.
any yelling about Tyler Nevin right now is absolutely old man yelling at the clouds. So continue.
Yeah, well, JD Davis has in 21 plate appearances, he's had 7 hits. He's been batting 350. He's got an on-base percentage 381, slugging 650. Um, he's just been good again, I guess. I'm not really sure what the rhyme or reason is to it. I guess, maybe he's seeing the ball better. I don't know. Days were willing to, kind of give him another shot at first. I don't think Soderstrom was like knocking anybody's socks off at first. So gave him a shot. Looks like he's holding it down, and I gotta give him his stars for that. We can't be biased about it. Just because I'm down on a player one week doesn't
Just
mean that we
because you
can't be up
hate
on them next
JD
week.
Davis doesn't mean you shouldn't give him 3 stars.
Yeah, JD Davis doesn't deserve to get hated as much as he does. Like, because Lord knows that he's like been through so goddamn
You
much.
didn't.
in the
You
last
didn't say
year.
you hate. You didn't say you didn't hate him. You didn't say you didn't hate him. I said you hate him, and you didn't refute it. It's on record. Will hates JD.
Ah, shit. Well, you got me, I guess. I don't know. I
Ironically-
secretly work for the San Francisco Giants, and I've
That's right.
colluded, to hate JD Davis.
Jeez.
No, I mean,
Reminded me about that, man.
it's
That's
not. I
BS.
wouldn't say it's, and I'm not, and it's like I will kind of not refute this, but like, it's not that I don't hate JD. It's not that I hate JD Davis. It's that I really wanted Soderstrom to work out at first. I really wanted that to work, and I'm just like a little miffed that it didn't. But I'm happy that JD Davis is like playing competent baseball again. So, I guess that's good. But I really wanted
Soderstrom tinted
Soderstrom
lenses, man.
I know it's
gets the
hard.
best of
It's
all
hard
of us.
going through a world living in this world with my Tyler Soderstrom tinted glasses on. I just got such a Soderstrom tinted view of the world. And
Yeah.
now the world's gone to shit. So
Your therapist said you should change that about yourself.
yeah, I should. I told him I'm working on it, but it's really hard to let go.
The Earth revolves around the sun, not Soderstrom. Will.
Mhm. It's so hard to
but,
get the two confused.
Yeah. Hey, Soderstrom definitely had his career highlight this past series. That's pretty cool. Or
Yeah.
two series ago, I should say. But we'll talk about that for a brief second later. But yeah, I do want to get mad at you though. I'm mad.
Oh, why? Why is that? What did I do?
I'm hopping mad. I could
That's
hop
like-
right now.
Oh, that's pretty mad.
Pretty
I
mad.
thought I handled you saying that you haven't watched a Star Wars movie pretty well.
That's true.
So I mean,
should.
I feel like I've earned like a little grace. But
I forgot of how pissed a fraction of the fan base is upset.
yeah,
just
but I've
they're
been
pissed with me right
like
now.
good about this. So
Yeah, you've been
alright.
great. I'll take a more measured approach then.
okay,
Have
at it.
I want to get this straight. You had the responsibility of doling out stars this week, correct?
I did.
It was
Yeah.
your job to give players playing good baseball on the Oakland Athletics props, stars even, potentially. Am I wrong about that?
I see nothing wrong with that.
If I'm JP Sears right now, I'm like, when are they going to talk about my excellent start? When are they going to talk about me? I'm at home. I'm JP Sears. I am eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I am questioning the powers that be, as well as the Funny Ball podcast, for just not even once have we said his name. So I'm gonna do it right now. Won the game, 6 innings, 2 hits, none earned. Did he walk anybody? One
He walked
walk.
one. He walked one.
0.5
No,
whip.
you're right.
JP Sears slanging Sears out here. He deserves a mention from the pod. I was waiting because you couldn't miss either JD Davis or Sears, so I knew one
Right.
of them. I was gonna
Yeah.
have to.
You're
I was
gonna-
gonna do
you're
a whole
gonna-
thing about.
Yeah,
it.
now you have to crumple up your JD Davis soapbox speech and throw that one out now. That,
I'd already gotten halfway through a JD Davis monologue. I had to quickly start the Sears one.
And you
but,
said that I hate JD Davis. Now
That's-
everybody's thinking I'm going to hate JP Sears.
You hate JD Davis, dude. What's
I'm such a hater, man. I got
those
so
two?
much.
Those two have a commonality. The little 2-letter name. I think that you might hate the guys that abbreviate their first names or their full names or their
Just
middle
spell
names.
it out. It's not that hard. What are you doing?
You were hating on TJ McFarland last episode when I was loving on him,
Yeah.
man. Ah,
What
what's
the
going
hell,
on?
man? It's Tommy John McFarland, you know?
If you're a guy who has a 2-letter first name and you see Will on the street, don't even approach him. And he's not even going to remember your name, even if you tell it to him.
I'm making up a name anyway. Oh, actually, TJ McFarland's name is Timothy John. I actually wasn't that far off.
What do you say it was?
I said Tommy John just as a joke.
Oh,
but
yeah. Well, that was a guy.
that was a dude. Tommy John was a dude.
What a legacy. Just a professional baseball player, a good one at that. And your legacy is just, you're always going to be remembered with pain.
Pain
and lost careers and lost money.
And lost elbow ligaments.
The death of dreams and elbow ligaments.
Yeah.
What a legacy. More than a lot of people can say. There's I've never had Will McMahon surgery before.
we can fix that.
I don't even. Let's not delve into what that might even be.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh.
All right, Miguel Andujar's back. Will.
Oh, is he now? Yeah, he is. We did touch on him briefly, but yeah, Miguel Andujar is back.
Good. Yeah, he literally can be the best hitter in this lineup if given like a real chance if he's playing good enough defense. Not to say that's like that. Actually, wait, no, I need to get over that, man. I still have a little bit of if a player's playing really well, they could be the best on the A's. You're gonna have to do a lot more to be better than Brent Rooker right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that some of these guys have set the bar pretty high. Like it's not this ain't open season, and honestly, this team's kind of found an identity at this point.
Its identity is Brent.
It's Terry Brent
exactly.
Rooker. Yeah.
The Brentland A's.
The Brentland A's.
But yeah, Andujar's back and he got that first start, 3 hits, pretty good. So yeah, I've got my eyes on Miggy, and watch out for Miggy in doubles. He has like, I think I've seen this stat before this year. Maybe it's changed since he's had some pretty forgettable stints. But I think like his hits, he has more like a higher percentage of doubles of all of his hits than like anyone else in baseball. So like let's say if like 30-something% of all of his hits are doubles, it would be like the most in baseball, whatever his number is. I found a way to say that point. I got there. But yeah, look out for some doubles from Miggy, usually pulling them. And one other thing before I'll kick it, if you've got stuff you want to say, is Estrella Ruiz to the IL, obviously, which is what gave, 2 more things, because it kind of rolls into the next thing. Ruiz to the IL leaves a spot for Daz Cameron. Just a really weird, unfortunate year for Ruiz, where for the first time, you could argue in his professional career, because there was never really a stint in the minor leagues where he was hitting for much power. So you could say he found his power stroke for the first time as a professional baseball player, and he found it in the big leagues. And with that being said, before this injury, he just wasn't getting time just out of, just getting some DNPs, and then gets this injury that he's gonna have to deal with. And there's actually a fair amount of guys that are volleying for time in the outfield. So bad timing for the injury, if there ever was a good timing for an injury. So yeah, just really unfortunate for Ruiz. Get better soon, and hope he can maybe still make an imprint at some point on this team or on any other team for that matter. But it kind of rolls in. I mentioned Daz Cameron, who replaced him on the roster. I've got a thing about Daz Cameron. Are you ready?
Yeah,
I think
ready.
Daz Cameron is the Dax Shepard of baseball players whose dads were good at baseball.
Okay.
I'll explain it for a second. Dax Shepard, he's out here, he's in Hollywood, he's making shows, he's in movies, but I don't think too many, I don't think Scorsese's writing his next movie with Dax Shepard in mind for the lead role, and Daz Cameron, never stuck around in the big leagues too much, son of Mike Cameron, who was a great baseball player, but comes up performs here, just immediate impact. And I think we might see here, he's not perfect. He's not your first thought when you think of, a player you'd want at the plate. But damn, he could be good. He can stay. He might have some staying power here, especially if Ruiz can't get too healthy anytime soon. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison. I wasn't expecting a Dax Shepard comp, but yeah.
I don't know.
He's
Des Cameron was in my head, and
player.
I kept on thinking Dax Shepard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's amazing what those Freudian slops will get you.
Good old Freudian slop.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, did I cut you off when you were saying something?
No. It truly was just about like their upcoming schedule. So
okay, wait, I got one more thing then before the schedule outro. Jack O'Glaughlin, you are now in Oakland A.
Dude,
Congrats.
Who is that guy? I saw that. I saw that he slung like three innings at the
Jack
end.
O'Glaughlin, Australian legend, future guest on this podcast.
When I saw that his contract got selected, I thought it was like for like AA or AAA. I did not expect to see him in like a game against the Houston Astros for 3 straight innings.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
man.
2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
Welcome to the squad. Okay. He was not pitching well in AAA this year. But hey, he's Australian. Adelaide.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
lefty.
That's sick. And I mean this with absolute like just an awe. Like it's awesome. Cool name, Jack Tahiki O'Glaughlin.
Oh, Tahiki. That's
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah. There's so many things that we need to take from Australia, man, and implement over here. If we could just leave the spiders and the blue ring octopi and all of that.
Yeah, like the animals that are like trying to constantly murder you.
I'll tell you, my middle name is 4 letters and it's not imaginative. So, it's a great middle name. It means something, but I'll say it's not Tahiki.
Well, Tahiki is 6.
Yeah. There you go. Good shower thoughts for future child names.
There you go.
Tahiki. There you go. Good stuff. You got a upcoming schedule, kind of bookkeeping.
Schedule. Yeah. So we got 3-game series on the road against Tampa Bay, where we'll be seeing Mitch Spence, Joey Estes, notice I resisted it, and Ross Stripling, that's going to get switched out because he's injured as well. And then we're going to follow it up with a 3-game road trip to Atlanta, where they're going to be playing the Braves. JP Sears is up to pitch in that series against Chris Sale, which I think is going to be a very interesting battle to watch.
Sale's been good lately for the first
Sale's
time.
Been very good. That's going to be a very good game, I think.
Southpaw matchup too.
Yeah. And then Aaron Brooks and Mitch Spence will be back on the mound. And
I hope Aaron Brooks continues to be okay. I know his last appearance wasn't great, but I don't know. He's given some length.
Yeah, he's got length. I'm interested to see who they're going to put in for Stripling.
That's not fair. Sale to Morton to Max Free to George Kirby.
That's going to be a rough stretch right there. Yeah. So yeah, game 1 of the Seattle series following the Braves series is.
Give me a couple minutes to name 20 more dominant pitchers currently active. Like I don't know if I could.
Nope.
So there you go. We'll. I mean, hey, there's 2 ways you could look at that stretch. Either, oh no, which is fair. It's fair to say, oh no, and not be happy about it. Or A's take 2 or 3 of those 4 games and feel pretty good. We have a pretty fun podcast episode after.
We're going to be having good times at the El Royale next time we record.
I'll tell you, if we win 3 of those 4 games, I'll bake cookies. I'll eat them on the podcast. I'll do it. That's my promise.
There you go. We'll see.
I'll bake some cookies.
I've got to hold you to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't everyone here on the edge of their seat,
Oh, I know I am.
I know how to keep them coming, man. I know how to keep them coming. Cool. Anything else that we didn't cover? I mean, here I'll just say Joey Estes, so we say his name one more time because we barely talked about him. if at all, really. Anything else, though?
No, I mean, no. I after my JP Sears gaff, that's about it. Yeah.
Well, here, wait. We kind of alluded to the uh the game that was on the 23rd.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Walk off
yes.
walk.
Walk off walk part 2.
And then the home run again. I don't know. I mean, we're a fair amount of days later where people probably have gotten their fix of either reactions or just in themselves feeling very excited about that game. We're already kind of on to the next, but yeah, crazy. Daz Cameron home run, Soderstrom walk off walk.
That
That
thing's
inning,
hilarious.
yeah.
It's hilarious that Brandon Bilak actually got the win. He got credited for the win in that.
Yeah, that's funny.
He pitched
I
like
didn't know that.
0.1 innings. Yeah,
Yeah.
He ended up getting the credit for it.
Good on him, man. Good on him. But yeah, good stuff. Not a lot of baseball teams just have that in them at any point ever. Like that's literally kind of impossible for some teams to, especially with not even like occurring any outs, like just to do that to start the top, like the 11th. That's crazy. So I don't really have much insight or analysis or things that the people probably, don't already know. But yeah, fun, really fun. And I feel like really needed with this recent stretch of games that have been kind of a struggle at times to, watch and enjoy. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
That is all for me.
All right.
So
how do you want to end us off?
I'm gonna end us off with a couple wishes. I wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday weekend. If you're listening to this, and if you made it this far, we also wish the Oakland A's a productive and introspective 6-game road trip. And I am going to wish all of you, the viewers, a wonderful rest of your Monday evening, and we will see you next time.
Heck yeah. Nothing more to add. Couldn't have said it better myself. Enjoy your holiday weekend, people.
Yeah. Hope you're celebrating somehow, some way, or just resting. And we'll see you next time.
Boom.
Peace.